When you cuddle, spoon, and touch each other at night, you're charging your relationship. However, when you take that away, you are substantially increasing the chances of your relationship failing. I've heard every excuse in the book for why you should sleep in separate beds, but here are 3 big reasons why you shouldn't. Hi, I'm Mario Che, and I am a relationship repair expert, and I have helped thousands of couples to save their marriages and to enjoy lifelong love. So number 1, humans are not by nature monogamous creatures. We just aren't. I've done research and I've looked at a long list of monogamous creatures. And one day I looked at it and I said, I realized, wait a minute, where's human being on this list? I don't know if it's a surprise for you, but it was a surprise for me. Human beings are not listed as naturally monogamous creatures. Now, why is that? We're not listed as monogamous creatures because other monogamous creatures, they bond one time and they spend the rest of their lives together. It's natural for them to spend their entire lives together. Human beings, on the other hand, we don't just bond one time. We can bond one time and then we have to bond again and again and again. And if we're not bonding in this way, then there's a natural separation because we don't have the structure in place, the triggering of what's necessary hormonally to maintain that lifelong relationship. So we've got to continue to do it. Sleeping together is one of the key ways that we demonstrate that our relationship is special in monogamy. Think about it. Have you ever had someone have sex with you, but they don't sleep over? It's weird, right? It gets awkward. Why? Because sleeping together is what makes us feel special in a monogamous relationship. This is important because we have to continually spike happy hormone. And what happy hormone is it? It's serotonin. Serotonin is the I feel special happy hormone. And so by sleeping together, by spending that time together, you're releasing and triggering that happy hormone. And that's why it's absolutely important. So you want to fight for that specialness, if you will, of your relationship. Number 2, your relationship is turbocharged with oxytocin. Oxytocin is another one of those happy hormones that makes us feel in love. Remember, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin is known for being the cuddle happy hormone. They even call it the cuddle drug. It makes you feel like bonded to someone. So as I talked about those monogamous creatures all have a very high level of oxytocin that continually flows for their partner. A mother and her child, they have that oxytocin flow. They have very high levels of oxytocin at the time of birth and thereafter, in the breastfeeding, etc. Their oxytocin levels begin to spike. Why? Because they need to be bonded together. And so by sleeping together every night, what we're doing is we're creating touch, it's releasing oxytocin, and it's creating that bond over and over again. And as we spoke about it, human beings are not naturally monogamous, so we need to create that bond over and over again. I had a client. She was having major issues with her husband. Their relationship, they were getting further and further apart year after year. She didn't understand what was happening. And so she told me her story. I remember there was a moment where she says, yeah, we haven't slept in the same bed in the last X amount of years. And I said, what? She said, yeah. Well, it's because he has sleep apnea and he's got a CPAP machine and it keeps me up at night. And she had a really good reason for it. And I said, go sleep with your husband. Do what you got to do, girl. You got to be in the same bed with your husband is the bottom line. Now she had to fight for it. It took a while, but then they began to sleep together. And literally almost overnight, their relationship shifted that by itself. That's the only thing that they changed. Why? Because they were sleeping in the same bed. They were able to have that natural flow of that oxytocin that had been missing in their relationship for so long. They went from being on the verge of divorce to being connected again and to being partners in life again and taking divorce off the table. Believe it or not, that was a big, big thing. Fight for your bedroom. Fight for the bed. Fight for your marriage. Number 3, this is another one. Another reason why you shouldn't be sleeping in separate beds is because there's less opportunity for intimacy. That's right. Boom, shaka, bam, bam. You need to have an opportunity to do that. And so there you are, you're in bed and you say, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And that's how it happens. Now, why do we want that? Well, intimacy, sex, releases and triggers dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. It is the super Effecta, if you will. It gives us all of those happy hormones that allow us to feel that in-love feeling. And if we do it over and over again, it continues to replenish us with what we need to be bonded together and closer together. So just by being in the same bed, you're more likely to touch, you're more likely to get connected, you're more likely to feel those other happy hormones we mentioned, the serotonin and the oxytocin, and you're more likely to want to have sex. You're giving yourself the opportunity to have sex. It's about a daily boost of that happy hormone. It's about that daily bond that you create. And that's what this whole thing is that we get when we sleep with our partner. If you're sleeping in separate beds, I understand you're in a challenging spot in your relationship. Well, fight for it now. Fight for the bedroom. Fight for that you guys sleep in the same bed. That's my recommendation. If you want to know more, check out my course on detox dosing your relationship so that you can save your marriage and create a lifelong love. I look forward to talking to you soon. All the best.